Now, let me welcome on to the Top Dogs podcast here on the Field of 68 Media Network. None other than John Martin, host of the Jason and John Show on 92.9 FM ESPN in Memphis. He is our resident Memphis expert on Memphis basketball, Memphis culture, Memphis barbecue, Memphis everything. John, I appreciate you being here, man. How you doing?
Yeah, man, all good. I'm excited about the week, about this game. It's a big time matchup in college basketball, so really excited about it.
I said today, it's apparently somewhat controversially, according to my Twitter mentions, that Feast Week doesn't officially kick off until the first game in Maui tips off. The first game in Maui is going to be Memphis paying a visit. Well, not really paying a visit. Memphis taking on UConn. Memphis is unranked, but they are top 30 on KenPom. They are sitting here right now with a 4-0 record. They've won at UNLV. They've won at San Francisco. They beat a decent Missouri team. They beat an okay Ohio team. I'm not sure anybody knew what to expect of Memphis coming into this season, but they're sitting here 4-0, and they haven't looked half bad this year. How do you feel about the Tigers in this moment in time?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's no secret. We did the preview here on Field of 68. I've obviously talked about him here locally. I was pretty down on him just because you're used to Penny Hardaway teams having a certain level of talent, right? You're used to classes of Amani Bates and Jalen Durans and even getting guys like Kendrick Davis. I mean, assembling talent has sort of been the hallmark of Penny teams, and not to say that this class was not talented. It just wasn't. I think it's probably his least talented when you just sort of take it as a whole. Like, there's no pro on this team. There's no, for McDonald's All-American, right? That's kind of what you've come to expect from, Penny Hardaway teams. But what I can say is that, they seem to defer to PJ Haggerty. They seem to get along pretty well. We thought that probably at this point last year, which is sort of the struggle with Memphis basketball always. They're always like 1 week away from having an absolutely disastrous collapse. But so far, 4 games in, man, you have to say it looks pretty good. They defend, they can make shots. But again, the test really starts, this week in Maui.
Yeah, and it's interesting because UConn is uh, much more highly regarded by any ranking system that you look at, whether it's KenPom, whether it's Torvik, whether it's the AP poll. No matter what it is, UConn is going to be considerably higher than Memphis. And I think it's an inarguable fact that Memphis has actually accomplished. Like, if you had to do the NCAA tournament right now, Memphis would probably be a higher seed than UConn because they actually have wins, whereas UConn's beaten a bunch of by games, sub 350 teams by
Yeah.
1 billion points at home. And I think UConn still has something to prove. And I'm very curious about this test and about this matchup because I think Memphis kind of matches up well with them, right? Like, they
Yeah.
got tough, talented guards. They
Yeah.
got big physical bodies inside. There's length and athleticism on the perimeter. And I'm very curious to kind of see, you know, how UConn handles this because we've seen them against teams that were completely overmatched, not exactly play their best and find a way to be able to win by 40. The talent's there, but I don't think that we've seen a full 40 minutes out of UConn yet this year.
Yeah. I mean, I think, as it relates to UConn, what you're going to kind of get in terms of, you're going to get lethal execution, right? They're going to execute probably better than anybody in college basketball. I don't know, maybe Gonzaga, but I mean, what you're getting every single time out. I think the question for UConn that I had this year is, okay, 2 years ago you lose Andre Jackson Jr., you lose Adama Sanogo off that title team. Okay, fast forward, you do it again, you win another title, but now you lose Klingon, now you lose Cam Spencer, now you lose Tristan Newton. How many consecutive years can you lose that elite of talent and return at that caliber? Maybe they can do it again. Maybe they can do it a third straight year. I mean, they're never going to obviously be out coached. That's not going to be the problem. I think my larger question with UConn this year is just how much talent really is there relative to the high ass bar that they've been operating at, the last 2 years. And I'm really not trying to give Dan any material, right? These are just sort of things I wonder about. But no, listen, I think it's going to be a great game. Penny and Dan Hurley used to share a league, believe it or not, when UConn was in the American, and I think Penny does own the all-time record over Dan, albeit that was a very different time in the tenure.
Yeah, so there's two keys I think to this game and to this matchup overall. The first is going to be Dane Danger and what he can kind of do against, I think it'll start with Samson Johnson and probably more likely the majority of minutes against Terrace Reed. He draws 4.8 fouls per 40 minutes. He's a guy who throw the ball into the post. He can make some things happen. Highway to the danger zone, right? We all remember that conversation from Illinois last year. And the one thing we know about Sampson and a little bit Terrace Reed to a point is that those guys are a little bit foul susceptible.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something where Memphis can kind of take advantage. And the other part of it is I don't fully buy into maybe that's the wrong way to phrase it, but I think that when you have tough, physical, old, athletic guards that can defend like Memphis does, I think that they can probably give UConn's backcourt a little bit of trouble. This is not first team All American Tristan Newton. This is not second round pick Cam Spencer. This is not Andre Jackson in the backcourt. Hassan Diarra is a guy that's probably best as sixth man, and Aiden Mahaney has a chance to be good, but he has not quite put it together yet. I think those are the two key. If Memphis is going to win, it's going to be because Dane Danger gets people in foul trouble, and Tyrese Hunter and PJ Haggerty, probably more Tyrese than anybody, but gives them hell, gives UConn's guards hell.
Yeah, I think that's the formula for Memphis. Like the way they've been winning this year, it's been just causing chaos, especially in the second half. Like that's their path. Just make the game as ugly and sloppy and fast, right, as humanly possible. Speed those UConn guards up and make them make decisions. Penny's really been committed to this full court press. It turned Missouri into soup. And that's Missouri, right? I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, it's a good press, and Memphis has the athletes. They don't have the depth. Penny's not playing 9, 10, 11 deep, so I think that's going to be something to monitor over the course of the season. But listen, if this is a clean game, and UConn's able to kind of just run their offense, and Dan Hurley gets his action, UConn probably runs Memphis off the floor. But if Memphis can set their defense up off of makes, and really, keep that pressure on UConn's guards and make them kind of prove it. I think this could definitely be a little bit of an upset early on in Maui.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point too. It sounds very simplistic to say, but making shots and allowing them, Memphis is going to be better if they can make more shots. Well, it's kind of like a compounding factor, right? You make shots, you can get in your press. You get in your press, you can force turnovers. You force turnovers, you get easy layups out of it, and it's just kind of a building cycle. And if you get it probably doesn't have to be the whole game, John, right? It just
right. Yes.
If you can get like 3 or 4 6 to 8 point spurts out of it, then that completely changes the context of the game.
Yeah, I mean, because like we were talking about, I mean, Memphis doesn't have the depth to do the Nolan Richardson, 94 feet of hell. They can't do that. But what they can do and what they have done is strategically sort of deployed it, especially late in second halves. I mean, every single game this year, with the 3 of the 4, I should say, they were losing at half. Mm-hmm. They were losing at halftime, and they come back and they really commit to this press, and eventually they just, again, cause enough chaos. It's ugly. It's an ugly style of basketball, right? This is not pretty. But Penny is in such a place with this program in this city where he's just got to do it by any means necessary. And this is sort of proven to be his most effective way, which is just muck it up and, really kind of drag you into the swamp. And if UConn's going to beat Memphis, they're going to have to stay out of that swamp.
Yeah, I still think it's wild that the way that this kind of bracket shook out is you got Michigan State and Colorado in the other quarterfinal on this half of the bracket. Then you have Auburn and Iowa State playing in a quarterfinal in a top 5 matchup with Dayton and North Carolina. There's a chance that Dayton could end up getting top 10 North Carolina and then like number 5 or number 4 Auburn in the and end up 0-2 heading into like a third round date with I don't know, Memphis or Colorado or whoever would end up being. But the way that this bracket shook out is crazy to me. And I think that whoever ends up winning this game between UConn and Memphis has a pretty easy path.
Yeah.
I'm not overly impressed with either Colorado or Michigan State right now.
Oh, no, certainly not. Obviously you got Iowa State, that I feel like has a very live shot in this game. Selfishly, because you're only guaranteed one game that matters, right? You could lose the first game to Maui. So I was really hopeful just being in Memphis, like, don't give Memphis Iowa State. Don't do that to Memphis because that's grand opening, grand closing, man. And it's not even the brand. So, at least Memphis UConn will be. I think it'll be a fun game. I think both fan bases will enjoy it. And yeah, I tend to agree with you. Just the way it all shook out.
How do you think this tournament's going to play out? Who do you have? Give me some predictions here. Can
Uh,
Memphis pull off this upset? Are you going in on that?
No, I don't. I don't really think they win the game. I know this. I know that Penny will have the team prepared. I know that they will definitely not be embarrassed, right? Like I think a lot of people might come into this thinking UConn's just going to run them off the court. I think this will be a very one or two possession game to the end, right? I'll be interested to see what it opens, tomorrow. Excuse me. I like Iowa State. I like Iowa State. It's hard to fade Auburn at this point in time, but I just like the way that Iowa State they have a it gets kind of wonky in Maui with the rims and the shooting. You never know if it's going to travel with you. And I think Iowa State's just one of those teams that can just defend and is happy to hold its opponent to 45 and they score 50. So I kind of like the Cyclones this week in Maui.
Yeah, so I actually like Auburn just because I think that Auburn can do a lot of the same things that Iowa State can do. They're a little bit bigger, they're a little bit more athletic, and I do think that they have a game changer to Todd Pettiford. Now, Todd Pettiford, I think probably is just as capable of having like an 0 for 9 performance in the first round against Iowa State as he is for having a 6 for 9 performance, doing the same thing as he did against Houston. So BetMGM actually has odds up right now for the Maui Invitational. Connecticut is plus 155. Auburn is plus 300. North Carolina and Iowa State are both plus 450. So at that value, I don't know, man.
I want no interest. I have no interest in North Carolina. I think honestly, any of those other three teams at plus money, why not? I think one of those three teams probably winning it.
Yeah, the more I think about it now, looking at those prices, if I want to bet on Auburn, then what I do is I just bet the Auburn money line for each one of those games and roll it over. You'll probably make more money doing it that way,
right?
With a little bit of less risk. So that's probably what I would do if I was going to bet Auburn to win this. So you think is your prediction Iowa State win it? Is that what you're going?
Yeah, I'm going Iowa State pulls it off. It feels like it's kind of their time to win one of these and obviously their non-conference has been a topic of conversation the last couple of seasons, but I don't know. I when you're talking about early and Auburn sort of has the same thing, right? It's not like there's a whole lot of difference here, but I just kind of like the idea of bringing back your best players, and I was high on Iowa State last season. I like them. I think they're tough, and I think this is kind of a week where they can show that.
So I'm going to go with Auburn winning it all, and it is going to be revenge for Auburn beating UConn in the championship, and it's going to be revenge for the 2021 Battle for Atlantis. I don't know if you remember this, but that's when Jabari Smith was there, and UConn beat Auburn 115-109 in double OT game in the first round in the first game at the Battle for Atlantis on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So I think Auburn's going to get their revenge, and Auburn will win the Maui Invitational. That's where I stand with it right now. But first thing you got to do if you're UConn is beat Memphis. First thing you got to do if you're Memphis is
beat UConn.
Yeah, beat UConn. Just the two-time champs.
That's right.
Two-time champs.
That's all you got to do, man. Penny once famously said he wants all the smoke. Well, on Monday he's got it.
Yep. It's not going to be an easy thing to do. Listen, John, I appreciate you being here, man. Taking some time away from your football Sunday.
Yes, sir.
We are both parents, and we are both dealing with households that have children that are not the most healthy at this point. So
I'm out of my steroids, man.
Well, look, I could grab the giant bag of cough drops that I have right now, but I don't think anybody needs to see that. I appreciate you being here, John, and we'll be friends again by about 4:30 tomorrow. But for 2 hours tomorrow is going to be a lot of shit talking going back and forth. So we'll see you, man. Thanks for being here.
You got it, man.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM Sportsbook. We're going to be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners, the viewers of the Field of 68 throughout the year. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. The best part, all you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your own hard-earned money to be eligible. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using that bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure that you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. BetMGM is going to have some fun offers available throughout the NBA playoffs. Bet insurance tokens, odds boost, and what I love, a nice parlay boost or two from time to time, as well as a ridiculous array of player prop bets for any sport that you could possibly imagine betting on. BetMGM is and always will be the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app, use the bonus code FIELD, and sign up today. And while I've got you, a quick request. The best way to support the Field of 68 content that you get for free is to engage with us. Rate and review the podcast. Like and share the YouTube videos. Tell your friends about us. It all helps in a world where the algorithm is king. And now, back to the show. Now that the college basketball season is in full swing, you need to make sure that you have access to the best betting tool on the market, the Rhythm app. Spelled RITHMM, is a data-backed app that uses AI and analytics to identify inefficiencies in betting lines and the player prop market that will allow you, the user, to profit. You can create customized, analytics-driven betting models tailored to your personal preferences as a bettor. Users have access to up-to-the-second against-the-spread data. And if you're like me and you understand pictures better than numbers on a screen, Rhythm's internal trend analysis provides you with the kind of graphs that will allow you to evaluate past results and project future performance in a visual way. Every Division I college basketball team is included in the Rhythm's metrics. Free subscribers to the Field of 68 Daily will get 25% off for a Rhythm subscription. Use the QR code on the screen to sign up or download at the link in the description. Now that college basketball season is back in full swing, I need to remind you guys about our partners over at Autograph, where the real college hoops fans reside. The Autograph app curates all of the best content for every sports fan and every sports fan's favorite team. Podcasts, blogs, analysis. It's all there without the nonsense from the talking heads that don't actually watch the games. And there's a bonus. Consuming content on the Autograph app earns you coins that can be redeemed for rewards for things like no-fee tickets or signed jerseys from your favorite players. There are a couple new features in the app that I need to let you guys know about as well. Autograph Replay gives you a quick hitting summary of the previous day's news so you can keep track of all the important things going on with your favorite teams. And Autograph Rooms allows you to chat in real time with the true voices of fandom within your team's community. So go to the link in the description or scan that QR code on your screen and download the Autograph app